You're standing on over 500 acres of quiet desert in northeastern Utah. The sky is wide and blue, the air dry, and the ground seems to hum with a stillness that doesn't feel quite natural. You've just bought the land, a dream ranch for your cattle business, but as you unlock the gate and drive up the dusty trail towards the house, you notice something odd. Every door has multiple deadbolts, thick chains hang from the side of the barn. The windows are all barred from the inside. There are claw marks all over the wooden posts, deep, wide, and old. It doesn't take long before you realize why the former owners were so eager to sell. Because something's wrong with this land. Something very wrong. I'm Andrew Stonerock, and Beardo beat me to it. I've had this script written for about 2 months now. Just haven't had a chance to record. I've been recording everything else but this. And Beardo dropped his video on Skinwalker Ranch today. I'm like, Beardo beat me to it. So what better time than now to just go ahead and record it and release it. And I'm going to tag Beardo's video down below. Much of my subs are already subbed to Beardo, so you've probably already seen it. But for those who haven't seen it, go check it out. Props to Beardo. But yeah, let's get into it. Skinwalker Ranch lies in the Uinta Basin of northeastern Utah, a rugged windswept region that has been home to both Navajo and Ute peoples for centuries. But the ranch itself, according to legend, is built on cursed ground. Long ago, as the story goes, there was a deep animosity between the Navajo and Ute tribes. The Utes are said to have betrayed the Navajo by siding with the U.S. military during campaigns to remove Navajo people from their lands. In retaliation, Navajo spiritual leaders are believed to have placed a curse on the land that the Utes would later occupy. A curse involving skinwalkers, malevolent witches in Navajo tradition who can shapeshift into animals, manipulate minds, and travel between dimensions. Navajo rarely speak of them, not out of superstition, but of fear. The area where Skinwalker Ranch now sits became known among the Utes as Path of the Skinwalker, a forbidden stretch of land, and no one dared linger there after dark. Now, let me preface this by saying skinwalkers are just witch doctors in the Navajo people. They're just witch doctors. They have committed a great evil. They have killed family members and spilled blood for dark magical power, according to Navajo folklore. They're not, some crazy, crazy powerful thing. They're just witch doctors. Do I believe in the Skinwalker? No, I don't. There is a fly. Do I believe in skinwalkers? No, I don't. Being as how I am not Navajo, I'm not Native American at all. I don't believe in them, but I respect the traditions of the Navajo people. I just wanted out there what skinwalkers actually are. They're witch doctors who, according to Navajo tradition, have killed a family member to gain great dark magical powers. That's the tradition. That's the legend as it is. Do with that what you will. Just, throw out everything Twin Paranormal has ever said about skinwalkers and listen to what the actual legend is. So with that aside, let's keep going. In 1994, Terry and Gwen Sherman, a practical, no-nonsense ranching couple, purchased a 512-acre property. They plan to raise high-end cattle and live a quiet, productive life with their 2 children. But the first red flag came not long after the handshake and paperwork. As they moved in, the Sherman noticed the main house was fortified like a bunker. Every door had heavy deadbolts on both the inside and outside. Massive steel chains hung near the front and back doors. Windows were either barred or reinforced, not just for protection against intruders, but as if to keep something in or out. There were no explanations left behind, just locks and silence. Now, let me tell you that this is taken from the Sherman's account. This is not anything that I've written up. This is from their account. Whether it actually happened or not, I don't know. So bear with it. There's a lot of controversy that goes around with Skinwalker Ranch. So this is just taken from what they have said. On the very first day, Terry, Gwen, and their kids witnessed something they couldn't explain. A massive wolf-like creature calmly approached them as they were unloading boxes. It wasn't afraid. In fact, it acted tame, like a pet. But this was no normal wolf. Terry described it as enormous, nearly shoulder height with its chest, easily 6 foot long, possibly more. Its fur was gray and matted, its head was massive, its eyes unblinking. It walked right up to the family and stood with them, letting Terry pet it. But then it lunged at a calf through the bars of the pen and locked its jaws around its snout, trying to pull it through. Terry grabbed his .357 Magnum off the truck and fired point blank into the creature's ribs. It didn't flinch. He fired again, and no reaction. Only after a third shot did the creature calmly release the calf and back away. Then, Terry grabbed a high-powered hunting rifle and shot the creature again, most likely 30-06. This time, a piece of flesh tore off. The creature ran off into the bushes, and Terry and his son followed the tracks for nearly a mile. But the massive paw print suddenly stopped in the middle of an open field, as if the creature had vanished into thin air. Gwen bagged the chunk of flesh. According to them, it smelled like rotting meat, but didn't decay. It is weird. Let's just note that it's weird for freshly torn off flesh to smell like rotting meat already. Just note that. From there, things only got worse. Terry began noticing strange lights in the sky, silent orbs that hovered, zigzagged, and occasionally emitted beams of light. He tried to record them, but found that his equipment would malfunction near them. Batteries drained, cameras shut off. Cattle started disappearing. Not wandering off, but disappearing. Sometimes, Terry would find only a pile of bones with no blood, no tracks, no signs of a struggle. Other times, he'd find a carcass with surgically precise incisions, organs missing, and again, no blood. No predator does that. One calf was found completely stripped of its meat within 45 minutes of being left alone. At one point, Gwen claimed to have unpacked groceries, left the room for a moment, and returned to find every item back in the shopping bags, perfectly arranged. They saw shadowy figures, often humanoid, lurking along tree lines or watching from bridge lines. Terry began keeping multiple firearms with him at all times. Even their dogs refused to go outside at night. One night, the dogs chased a glowing orb into the woods. The next morning, Terry found only 3 greasy spots on the ground where they had vanished. After that, he never left another animal off the leash. Despite the terror, Terry Sherman wasn't one to back down. A lifelong outdoorsman and hunter, he decided if something was stalking his land, he was going to fight back. He assembled a small hunting party, trusted friends and local ranchers, armed with high-powered rifles and night vision. They stalked out parts of the property where strange lights and mutilations were most common. One night, while camped on a ridge, they saw what looked like a portal open in mid-air in a field below. It wasn't just light, it was a hole in space, and through it, they claimed they could see a different sky, dusk-colored with clouds lit orange and red, even though it was night where they stood. Then something crawled out. They couldn't agree on what it was. It was too big to be a man, too fast to be an animal. It dropped to the ground on all fours, paused as if sniffing the air, and then ran into the bushes. They never found tracks, just dead silence. One night, while checking a corral after hearing a commotion, Terry spotted something in a tree. Something that didn't belong there. He aimed his rifle scope and saw a massive bird-like creature with humanoid face. Something he described as having yellow eyes, no feathers, and a twisted, almost mocking grin. It was perched silently, watching him from above. Terry fired, and the creature vanished into the night. No sound, no flapping, just gone. The next day, all they found were deep claw marks where the tree bark and an acrid smell in the air. Perhaps the most heart-wrenching event came from the Sherman's 3 ranch dogs, all loyal, tough animals, chased one of the glowing orbs in the wooded area. Terry hesitated to follow immediately, but when the dogs didn't return, he went out with a flashlight. What he found was 3 scorched, greasy patches on the ground. No fur, no bones, no blood, just blackened grass and an awful stench, like burnt meat and chemicals. The dogs were never seen again. After that, Terry said that he had stopped fighting the ranch. He and Gwen began planning to leave. The family started to fall apart emotionally. Gwen began hearing voices speaking in a language she couldn't understand. Their children refused to sleep in their own beds. Electrical disturbances became common, lights flickering, phones dying mid-call, and appliances shorting out without warning. At one point, Terry saw a black humanoid mass crawling across the field low to the ground, disturbingly fast and fearless. The Shermans went from skeptical cattle ranchers to terrified survivors, enduring 2 years of escalating high-strangest phenomena that seemed to mock their attempts to resist it. In 1996, they gave up. Terry and Gwen sold the ranch for a fraction of what it should have been worth to someone with deep pockets and deep interest in the unknown. When the Shermans finally sold the ranch in 1996, it wasn't to another cattleman. It was to Robert Bigelow, a Las Vegas real estate mogul and aerospace entrepreneur with a keen interest in paranormal and UFO phenomena. Bigelow had recently founded the National Institute for Discovery Science, or NIDS, NIDS, a private organization tasked with investigating fringe science, consciousness, life after death, and UFO activity. Skinwalker Ranch was to become their crown jewel, a living laboratory for high strangeness. NIDS set out with a clear goal: document, measure, and understand. They brought in surveillance equipment, infrared cameras, motion detectors, and magnetic field monitors, and a rotating crew of PhDs, physicists, engineers, and former military operatives. The ranch was wired with 24/7 monitoring, and researchers lived on-site to document phenomenon in real time. But almost immediately, they ran into a problem. Nothing wanted to perform on command. Over the span of several years, NIDS recorded dozens of eyewitness accounts, but almost no hard data. Researchers reported poltergeist-like activity, including objects moving on their own, animals behaving erratically, refusing to enter certain areas, shadowy figures, humanoid shapes that seemed to observe them from a distance, glowing orbs, again often blue in color, that floated silently over the property. One investigator even claimed to see a portal open mid-air with a black humanoid figure crawling out before vanishing. They attempted to photograph and film these events, but somehow, no cameras ever caught anything definitive. Either the activity occurred just outside the camera's view, or the equipment would malfunction at the exact moment that something happened.
Oh, well, isn't that convenient?
Pretty convenient. This led to some researchers to conclude that whatever intelligence was behind the phenomenon was aware of their observation and deliberately avoiding it, or nothing was happening. One of the eeriest moments came when investigators found a set of impressions, as if large, heavy equipment had been dragged across the ground, but no machinery was ever there. On another occasion, a team stationed on one side of the ridge witnessed a silent craft flying low over the mesa. Their colleagues on the other side, with cameras trained in that direction, saw nothing at all. Not visually, not on radar, not on thermal. The term that kept coming in NIDS' internal reports was trickster, as if the phenomena was intelligent, reactive, and above all, evasive. The results, or lack thereof. Despite years of efforts, the NIDS team never published a formal peer-reviewed study. They compiled reports, maintained logs, and eventually released some findings through interviews and public appearances, but never anything conclusive. To this day, none of the surveillance footage has been made public in full. What we're left with are anecdotes, not evidence. By the early 2000s, with interest waning and no concrete proof, NIDS was quietly shut down. Bigelow still owned the ranch, but the project entered a quieter phase. For a time. Then, in 2016, the story came roaring back to life, thanks to the new owner, a new name, and eventually a television deal. By 2016, Skinwalker Ranch was all but quiet. Robert Bigelow had moved on to other projects, and the property was quietly sold to an anonymous buyer. The buyer was Brandon Fugel, a successful Utah real estate tycoon and tech investor. But he kept his identity secret for nearly 4 years. Privately, he had a mission: to reignite scientific study at the ranch using modern technology, aerospace-grade sensors, geophysical scans, and data analytics. And unlike Bigelow, Fugel didn't want to keep it all under wraps. He wanted the world to see. Fugel assembled a team of scientists, engineers, and researchers, most notably Dr. Travis Taylor, aerospace engineer and physicist, also known for other science-based TV shows, Eric Bard, principal investigator and chief scientist, a rotating team of camera operators, ranch security, and tech experts. Their approach combined high-tech gear with boots-on-the-ground style investigations, deploying drones with LiDAR mapping, radiation and electromagnetic sensors, ground-penetrating radar, Tesla coils and signal generators, and of course, a full TV production crew. In 2020, Season 1 of Secret of the Skinwalker Ranch aired on the History Channel. Their goal? Bring public transparency to the investigation. Key incidents from the first 2 seasons included unexplained spikes in radiation, including one episode where multiple crew members suffered physical symptoms after exposure near a buried well, mysterious signals in the RF spectrum, including narrowband transmissions no one could identify, RF spectrum being radio frequency spectrum in this one. I know Beardo says that they don't tell us what RF means. RF is just basically radio frequency. Just think of it like that. Equipment malfunctions, drones falling from the sky, GPS anomalies, and laptops catching fire without explanation. All of that is explainable as faulty equipment. Objects seen in the sky, sometimes appearing on camera, sometimes not. A series of medical events, including one researcher experiencing acute swelling of the scalp after exposure to a specific location that ties back to the well. They also attempted to recreate the portal phenomenon, dig into sealed areas of the ranch despite local legends and warnings against it, and measures changes in gravity, magnetism, and time anomalies. But instead of answers, the show delivered more questions and more paranormal chaos. But is it real science? That's the core question. The show frames everything as an ongoing scientific investigation, but many critics point out no raw data is made publicly available. Many conclusions seem speculative and drawn from small data samples. Some experiments border on theatrical, like launching rockets or firing Tesla coils into the air. The team often speculates before they illuminate simpler explanations, a hallmark of pseudoscience. And perhaps most importantly, none of their findings have been peer-reviewed. So the Tesla coil thing, you can kind of explain that as they're trying to charge the atmosphere, hoping that something will happen. I don't know if they actually are or not. It's been done in paranormal shows. Tennessee Race Chasers used to carry around stuff like that to charge the atmosphere because they thought that it made the ghosts more active or something like that. It is total pseudoscience. There's no actual scientific backing for any of it besides just making your hair stand up. But it is what it is. It's a History Channel show. It's a fringe channel at this point. It's just a channel dedicated to pseudoscience. There's nothing real that ever comes out of it. So let's be honest. The History Channel's modern reputation doesn't exactly scream scientific rigor. While the show was undeniably drawn attention to the ranch, it has also been accused of sensationalism, emphasizing drama, cliffhangers, and spooky music over analysis, withholding results, teasing major reveals only to deliver vague answers, scripted reality tropes. Some moments feel too convenient. It's not that the show is outright fabricating, but its tone and format lean heavily into entertainment, which has made serious researchers hesitant to take the ranch seriously anymore. There's a frustrating duality at Skinwalker Ranch. You have credible witnesses, odd data, and decades of consistent reports, but also TV cameras, ratings pressure, and a tendency to leap to the strangest explanation first. Brandon Fugel says that he genuinely wants answers, that his team is exploring the unknown using the best tools available, and to his credit, he's put millions of his own dollars into the effort. But as of now, we're left with more drama than data. From Navajo legend to the Sherman's paranormal siege to a failed scientific study and now reality TV, Skinwalker Ranch, or the Sherman Ranch as it is actually known, has evolved from a quiet cattle property into one of the most infamous paranormal hotspots in the world. Is it cursed ground, a testing site for unknown forces, or just an elaborate stage for human fear and imagination? I'll let you decide. I'm Andrew, this has been Legends Untold, and Beardo beat me to it. So if you guys like this episode, leave me a like, subscribe, hit it down in the comment section. Let me know what you think of the Sherman Ranch, and I'm gonna link my video on skinwalkers and the actual meaning of that word and what it means to the Navajo people down below. I'm also going to link Beardo's video, that way you guys have easier access to it in case you're not subbed to it. Most of my subs already are subbed to Beardo, so you guys have probably already seen it by the time this video comes out tomorrow from the time I'm recording. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, there's a merch bar down below. Go pick yourself up some dope merch. You can also buy me an energy drink through the PayPal link up above in my bio. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.